I'm going to Canada now.
I don't think so.
Hail to the king, baby.
Well, hello there, fine people of the internet. It is I, Mikey GRS. I am here tonight with my buddy, your buddy, everybody's buddy, Glen Planamento. Am I saying that right, Glen?
You say it right every time. Planamento. Planamemo, Planetomato. It's all good.
Glen's Retro Show, GRS. Also, what is your official title with GRS? The Glen Father?
The Godfather.
No, like, do you have one? Like, GRS Thunderstick, there's a team in China, but like, what's your role there specifically?
My role there, I guess, would be a spokesperson, designer, product tester, concept. I pretty much do everything except for the actual assembly and electronic design. We actually have a team specific to do, board design and coding, and the manufacturing team, of course. But outside of that, everything else comes from Glenny G.
Glenny G. So you don't have an official title.
We don't, because we're not a big company. We actually do work for a large arcade manufacturer. I said this before. We're like a skunk works.
Yeah.
We're like a subdivision. We kind of are left alone mostly to do what we want. Sometimes I have to fight for things that I think that the company should do. And for the most part, I win. There's a couple I've lost. Maybe out of 10, maybe I get 7.5. And I sometimes have to compromise on one of them. But for the most part, they do. And as we sell product, we put that money now into my next dream project. And that's kind of how these all get funded. So the controllers, the Build A Cade, the Akari stick, work with SNK, send in, all these things kind of built up to now we're coming to this latest thing. But I'm already now, I got 3 things planned ahead of the FU already. So that's how it works.
Why? I thought you were in the end game now. I thought the Build A Cade FU was the end game.
It is, but just like Marvel, it started doing shitty things afterwards. Hopefully I won't do shitty things afterwards, but hopefully I'll have better things afterwards. But this is definitely my cream of the crop, my Thanos. But even with Thanos, there's still things that can either go with the FU or be subproducts of FU or be comparable, right? Because you can have I'm trying to be the best example of, I guess, would be Nintendo to a point, right? You had your Switch, but you still may want to play your SNES, or you still want to maybe dock it at home and have your portable unit. All these different things, right? A lot of times you have to go to companies for different things. I want to have basically all encompassing with my products, but hopefully good enough to where people start really going, wow, this stuff is really good quality stuff. It's good. We now have a good ecosystem. We have the arcade software, which is phenomenal. And we have a lot of stuff being built on the back end still for that'll be coming out. So, and the Viper Venom. So a lot of things have been coming out. Just we have to give it a little time, let it cook in the oven a little bit.
There's a lot to unpack there, Glenn. Probably,
and I've been getting packed a lot. We discussed about that for the show.
I'm known for my very crude and poor dad jokes, but I'll tell you this, Glenn, I can't wait to receive your cream.
Glenny cream is good. You get a Glenny cream You got the best.
Oh my god. Anyways, we gotta right before the show started, my buddy Goofyfoot, I've been playing some VR golf with this guy. This guy is awesome in VR golf. Very quiet though. Like you see people's pictures and you talk to them, you don't know how they're gonna be in a social setting. Goofyfoot is so quiet, so nice. What a great guy. He says, and even though I'm saying this, apparently, what a great opportunity to make a shout out to Glenn and his amazing products and to say, F you, Michael B. Have you read it and not get blocked? Why did I say you such a nice guy? Why did I do that?
Well, I think everyone in 2025 should go FU themselves and put it in their main room or the basement, wherever you want to put it.
Thank you very much, Goofyfoot. Greatly appreciated. We got a ton of people here, Glenn. I don't want to eat up too much time, but I just want to say hello to the people there in the chat. We got Dan Z here. Dan is one of the nicest guys in the community, always one of the first people in my chats. Great member of the community. Ritual Dello here. He says, I got his guy on tonight. That's why he's here. Ritual Dello, also one of the few active people in my Discord. God bless you, Ritual Dello. I appreciate it. B. Kirby, the Chicago arcade guy. Corner Arcade is here. Jason's here. I'm actually thinking about getting a 19 and a 26-inch FU cab. Look at that. That's called a whale. That's someone that's going to be buying both your products, Glenn. You better pay attention to Jason.
No, it's funny. A lot of people have been saying that. I was shocked. A lot of people want to get one of each or more.
Well, you can do so many things for it. Like if I have the money, I would love to get two, but one of them will never be used as a multicade. Is well, technically never be used as a multicade. Like the 26, I want as like my generic
Multicade.
multicade.
Right.
But the 19, I'd be getting to do the Donkey Kong mod, and I'm only going to play very specific games on it that fit that control panel and that screen orientation, right? Yeah. So basically, Nintendo games.
Yeah.
It'll be
Okay.
like the original arcade one up, 3 games. Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong 3. And I'm gonna be spraying stuff right up Donkey Kong's ass with Stanley. JJ is here. Everybody left now because of my terrible jokes. It's only time, Glenn. I apologize. Did you do a fart noise? You got a soundboard there? J Rod's here. Who else we got? Fourth Horseman. Are you buying one, Michael B? 1000%. Carlo. Hello, party people. Jason Little Aliens here. Best moderator in the business. Show Gecko. Who else we got? Marine 50. The Realism. Stock Jock is back at his hotel. Do you know he's a traveling gigolo in real life?
I did not know that, but congratulations, man.
I didn't know either. I always wondered what he did. He said something about him and his brother running some kind of flooring company. Nope. Traveling gigolo. We also got Gramps Arcade here. Jay Pace, Canadian friend. Today we got some really good news, thankfully. In fact, I think we were actually pretty good on it. From what I understand, the goods coming in from the US that we would have been tariffed on, I think we would have been safe on like home arcade. Commercial arcade is where it's questionable, and like anything that's coin operated. Now you got that snazzy coin door, so we might have been screwed. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Well, it won't be when you finally become a state.
Oh, Glenn. I don't care as long as my life is better. That's all I care about. Danny Johnson. Hey, Jason. Who else? We got Mitchell B. MG's here. Welcome to all the jazz you can find on YouTube. You ever do a jazz hands? Give me a jazz hands, Glenn. There we go. Look at that. That's just for MG. Who else we got? MSU Rich, Mitchell B. I think that's everybody. If I missed anybody, Mike Hawk Hurts, P-Dubs Arcade Love, Calvin Wong. If I missed anybody, I am sorry, Scott B, but we got to get going here. Doug Wynn, let's rock and roll. So I've got some questions for you tonight, Glenn. Hard-hitting questions. Hard-hitting.
Do it.
So first off, Adam Calv says all tariffs are on hold for a month. Thank God. Hopefully they don't ever go into place. No matter which way you try to look at it, I'm not trying to pump up one politician or another. People assume because I'm Canadian, I'm like, rah, Canada. No, I'm rah, Michael B. I don't really give a shit about the country. It's just the tariffs, like as much as they could work. Also, like nobody wants our economy to get any worse. No one wants prices to go up. That's all I care about, right?
Well, I got like 40% of my paycheck. So I'm working from like Monday to like half on Wednesday, just for the government.
Yeah.
That's just how it is, and it sucks.
Yeah, 100%. Canada, what is it? I think I lose about 35% of my paycheck, but that's tax and also EI and then my pension. So I take home like 60% of my paycheck every 2 weeks. That's what
Yeah,
I get.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you're like anywhere around here, they tax you when you spend it. They tax you when you save it. They tax you when you look at it. They tax you when you don't touch it. It's just constantly taxed. I think
Big
we
time.
kicked the British out. We kicked them out for like 2 cents of tea.
Jason, no, this is the comment I wanted to bring up from Mike Hawk Hertz. Another company we all know and love, Buy Stuff Store. They were pretty scared there yesterday. They were rushing to get all orders out, trying to prevent orders getting taxed with the extra tariffs. They were going to send everything out. Luckily, it's the 30-day delay. That would have been a rough situation for them, right? Not so much for them because they could either eat it or it gets passed down to the customer. That's the way it
Yeah,
works.
it's hard for a small fries. Even the
Yeah.
Buy store is a small fry to eat that type of stuff. And that's the thing. You can't blame um, sellers, manufacturers for these type of things. We have no control over it, like shipping. I'm doing the best I can, but I'm not a shipping company. We're at the mercy of those companies, and tariffs are the same thing. You can't hold them accountable. But if you really want the product, you still get it. It's unfortunate we have to go through that, but until Donald Trump says, "Glenn, come on board as the gaming liaison for the U.S. government," which they should have because they're training a lot of the kids now in AI and robotic drones. They can use my Kari sticks, and they could be flying drones with them. Just saying.
You might have too many skills. Like there's not a lot of vetting going on for these people being put in office. That's on both sides of it. Politics are always
True.
like that. People put their friends in. There's nothing new here. So, Glenn, I did want to ask you about the tariffs because just really quickly, Canada, Mexico on hold right now. This is not a political show, but the Chinese tariffs loom. And this is one of the more complicated ones because a lot of like the home arcade space, all their stuff is made in China. So basically anything you get shipped in that you're purchasing from there could potentially be taxed.
Right.
How is that going to affect your pricing model? Is it? Have you looked at that?
We actually, Chinese New Year just kind of finished
Yeah.
last month. So I started talking to my team again today, and that was one of the topics we talked about. And we're looking into it. So, like I say, we really just started going into it. I think right now with China, it was actually more for you guys. It was only 10%, I think, for China, and you guys was actually 25% that we're
Yeah,
talking,
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of weird. Not that I'm complaining, but I thought it was kind of weird.
But it's
Um,
on the US side, it's the funny
yes,
thing. Like
yes,
if you have a US product and I buy it from you, the tariffs that would have been in place from the US wouldn't have impacted me at all. I could buy your
right,
product without an issue. The problem was Justin Trudeau's retaliatory tariffs. If
right.
I bought something from the US, I would have to pay an additional 25. Like that's the weird thing people don't
It is.
understand. Like
It is.
the,
We're the people caught in the
like
middle. We're the
Trump puts a
kids.
tariff in place.
Yeah,
I don't pay that.
right. It's like kids in a divorce.
Yeah.
We're the ones being held hostage with all this. But like I say about the tariff is, it was a 10%, and we don't even know if my particular items would have been part of that 10%.
No.
So we can't even say my stuff is even involved with it yet. So we have to wait and see. But we are looking and investigating all that, like we always try and do. Um, I've always come with the best price. I can come with everything. We're already pretty close in the skin of the game now with the pricing and everything we're including, but we'll see what we can do for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't we the whole point of my stuff is to make sure you guys can get it. And if you can't get it, well, that's a problem.
Bill's retro gaming shows here. You ever hear of this guy? Really super nice guy.
He's a stalker of mine.
How did your big power hour go Friday? It was one of the few shows I wasn't able to get to. We've been having some challenges putting my daughter to bed, and I was trying to get ready for the show. So, how'd the show go Friday night?
It actually went very well. We had Glenn and Bill on.
Yeah.
You know what my shows are. It's funny because Bill and he's like, "What are we going to talk about?" And Glenn's like, he's sending me stuff, probably like P Dubs. He's sending me all these things. I'm like, that's not how I do my shows. I sit down there, we just start talking, and we go from there. Which is why my show is a little bit off the cuff. But it was good. They're good guys, and I thought it went very well. We had a lot of good chat group. Everything was good. So good, Mike.
It felt good. Felt natural. I,
It felt natural. It didn't feel like a fart, but it felt good.
who gave you a soundboard? Who made this possible? All right. So, couple more questions, Glenn. I know I put it up in my Discord. I asked people about questions they wanted to ask you and make sure they were there. I want to make sure I ask those first. So a lot of people are asking, are you going to be bringing the GRS Build A Cade FU with you potentially to conventions? People want to check it out before they possibly pre-order or buy. I know there's some talk about you going to some conventions this year. Is there going to be any showings of this arcade in the near future?
It's funny you bring that up, and I told Michael B, and I tell everyone, I answer everything honestly, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be at any shows
Oh, wow.
because
Yeah.
it's funny when I throw money to sponsor a show, they have me. I said, we spent a lot of money, and we're trying to focus on the product line, and, like, I wanna come to the show and, but I would like to come on just as, as a guest, blah, blah. I mean, other YouTubers have, brought on as guests, and they sell items.
Yeah.
They have books for some reason, for me, it's different. I can only go if I get a booth, and I'm looking. I don't need to bring hundreds of things. I can bring my small Build-A-Cades or whatever. But I don't think I'm going to any shows because I told them I'm not willing to spend eight, nine, $10,000 to sponsor a show. And if that's the only reason why you guys want me there, then I shouldn't be there to begin with. I'm there to meet people, and to be honest, not to toot my own boat, toot my own horn. When I go to the shows, generally people come see more than the people who are in the YouTuber areas who are my friends. I'm not dissing them in any way, shape, or form. It's just how it is. And if the only reason they want me at the show is to sponsor your show, I don't need to go. So I don't know
Yeah.
if I'll be going to any shows this year.
Well, you could do the iconic arcade method for CES. Instead of going to the shows, just get a hotel nearby.
I could do
Tell
that.
people to meet at the hotel.
But I can't afford what John D pays. So be at like a Motel
No.
6 or I don't know, a Hyatt 8 or something like that. People, hookers in the back, drunk, half cut up in the trunk of someone's car. That's the hotel I'd be at.
Wait a minute. You're going to be showing your arcade at a place with raunchy hookers? Guys, we have never had a better opportunity. This is a convention waiting to happen. One specific one, I think Stockjock asked. I know the Arcades Anonymous group are all going to Cleveland in September, so they were asking about the Cleveland Gaming Classic. Any chance? I know you've been invited there as a guest before, correct? Or did you sponsor
the one time I met you, and then I asked last year to come out, and they ignored me. So I said to myself, you know what? I don't need to go back to the Cleveland Gaming Show. I had a great time out there. I actually won from a lot of people the best booth of the year, and I thought I was friendly with them. They didn't invite me back. And the one thing I knew for me this year, Mike, out of all the things, and you've known me a long time.
Yeah.
You've known me a long time. And I'm learning now not to be a pushover for the rest of my life. And I'm not saying pushover, but I constantly cave. I always try to play nice with everyone in the sandbox. But I've been doing this for over 10 years. I've been doing this stuff for 6 years. And if the community who do these shows don't see me as a value to going out to these or talks or anything like that, I don't need to go to them.
Yeah.
I'm a family guy. I have a full-time job. I do this stuff on the side. If they want me, all they have to do is ask.
Yeah.
I've asked, and either get crickets or how much you want to spend to sponsor. I'm not doing that. If I'm going to make products inexpensive for you guys, I can't be spending tons of money to go to these shows, especially when I know other YouTubers are being invited and even comp their hotels or they comp their trip. I'm not asking for that. I'm just saying, give me a booth. And
Yeah, I mean, you're not looking for
no.
the John Hancock treatment.
No, and I don't deserve that. But
Yeah.
I could use just give me a small table, a seat, and that's it. But if they were going to tell me I'm not worthy of that, and I know other people they've given that to, the new New Year's resolution, Glenn, of 2025 is like, that's fine. I don't need to go. I'm doing my own thing. I have my fans. They know how to get hold of me. I pretty much add it to anyone on Facebook wherever I can or email. And it's a shame. I would go, especially to Long Island and the Hartford show are like literally like an hour and a half each for me. And for me to constantly have to go to them and just be treated like nothing, unless I spend money, I'm good.
MG says some people get a booth and are never in it, Glenn. It's outrageous. Have you ever heard of something like that?
I remember me covering a couple booths, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't just one booth, multiple booths.
Yeah, I told the guy from Cleveland, I was like, I would love to come back and support your thing, but like I don't want to sit at a booth all day. And he was like super nice because he was trying to get me to come back again next year. And he was like, I'd love for all you guys, like Super Game Room dudes and everybody to come back.
That's it right there. That's it right there. Not only did he not reach out, he ignored me, and I sent him all my products. Listen, just as a thank you for letting me go to the first show, I sent him all my stuff. I get crickets from him now. So I'm like, you know what? Even if I was invited to that show, I wouldn't go because there's a thing called having a backbone and some principles.
Yeah.
And for me, I think I've done a lot for the community. I think I've done a lot to promote our community, and I'm snubbed by the same people in that community. So I'm good.
Well, I don't think the Cleveland Gaming Classic is necessarily our community. I'll be honest here. I
No,
mean, you know, our
no,
community, our community is very passionate, very large, but like it's also a subsection of gaming, right? Like
absolutely,
so, and
absolutely.
it always sucks, but you know this, like you're gonna have guys like they're gonna be like, oh, AVGN can come and stuff like that. They always get priority, and
Oh,
like
and
they
they
look at
should.
it. Yeah,
All I'm saying is it'd be nice to at least say, Glenn, you want to come out? You know, we want to give you a tiny little spot, whatever. That's fine. You can't speak. That's fine. I would like to meet the people. I love going to those shows, and you were there. People came up to us, and it was fantastic.
yeah, they came up to you and they were like, Glenn, we love all your products. And then they came up to me and they were like, you're a goddamn shill. And I was like, thanks for telling me.
I only said it to you once. You were a shill. I only said it the one time.
So I will work behind the scenes tirelessly. I'm gonna get you to Cleveland, and you're gonna be
No,
like, "No,
it's
I'm
too
not
late.
going. I'm not
I would
going."
no, I
And
wouldn't
they
go
are
at this
gonna
point.
ask
The
you.
fact I wasn't invited last year after having such a great time the previous time and to be snubbed, they couldn't get me back. They couldn't fly me out, give me a room. I would not go to Cleveland. I would not go
What if
because
I told you they were hookers?
I still wouldn't go. It's too late.
Oh, Glenn,
For
you
me,
were too hard to make a deal with.
no, I'm actually I've learned a lot. I've really
Yeah,
learned that in our community, I've always tried to be sensible to everyone out there. But in stuff like that, especially when we had such a good rapport and I was talking to them great, and then to be snubbed last year, they couldn't get me back unless they literally kidnapped me
yeah.
and dragged me out there. That's the only way I would go. Unfortunately, I'm sorry about that because I have a lot of friends out there, and I'll visit them personally, but I'll never go to that show again.
All right, I'll leave it there. I'm not going to push you. I think it might have been a misunderstanding because super nice guy Tom. So I'll
He's a
leave it
nice
there.
guy. It's not
Yeah,
against him. I'm just saying that at this point I wouldn't go. And again, for us to go to these shows, people have to realize when you go to these shows, we're taking our PTO time from our job. We're spending airfare. We're doing a lot of things. I ship stuff out there. I ship tons of stuff out there, and thankfully, people help me when I ship the stuff
yeah.
out there. And it's a lot of work. And to be treated the way I'm treated now, unless I spend a few grand to sponsor the show, and that's the only reason you want me. Don't need it. I'm good.
Yeah, it's a little rough, but you know, it's always in a different position too because you've got two parts, Glenn. Like, just I'm going to speak honestly here because you have Glenn, the performer. You know what I mean? And
The ladies know that
absolutely.
one.
But you also have Glenn the business, and unfortunately, they look at that, and the minute you talk about bringing your stuff in, and they're like, "This is how we treat businesses," and
Oh, you're right. But Mike, on that particular note, think of the angry video game nerd.
yeah,
He's an influencer. He's got a huge business. He's got a lot of products he
yeah,
sells.
people don't
You
know everything that he
Pat,
does.
Pat the NES punk,
Yeah,
John Hancock, all those guys do the exact same thing.
no,
So it's really not treating different.
AVGN is a little bit different because he also owns like Screenwave Media, that big
Oh yeah,
conglomerate. They're making video games from the retroware point. AVGN's
right.
all in on
But
that,
that's the
right?
point.
Yeah,
They're an influencer and they also have a product line.
yeah,
They have their brand.
yeah.
Therefore, they are no different from me. Again, I'm not as big as them. I get it, but to say that I have a product line, they all have the same things. Not one influence out there. T-shirts, even selling T-shirts at the booth. You at the booth, they sell the T-shirts. They sell books. They sell pins.
Yeah.
It should be no different. But I'm being treated differently. I'm good.
Does it make you feel any better if I told you I stole some of John Hancock's pins at the Pinball Expo?
He knows.
I'm gonna get an invoice. All right. So a lot of people do want you out there. You know, I know it's a huge expense for you, but I think it's of course seeing you because Glenn, you're a treat to be around in person. But I think people actually want to get hands on with the machine as well. Like
Right.
everybody trusts you, trusts your quality and stuff like that. But there's nothing like that hands-on experience. So I don't think anybody's trying to put you in an
That's what I
awkward
tell the
position or
ladies
anything.
too, Mike.
But they want to get their hands on. So
Right. And I will say though, honestly, For
Can they
me,
just come to your house?
that might be the best way because honestly, remember this FU is going to be like a 200 plus pound
Yeah.
unit. So to take it to a show is honestly gonna have to drive it out there.
Mm.
That's probably the only way it would go to these shows. So that's even longer expense and time. So the fact of that is, honestly, when people start getting it in their hands, and I said this from the beginning on this particular unit, this one is really going to be a word of mouth type of unit.
Yeah.
As people get it, and not just influencers. 'Cause I know people, half the people believe what influencers say. Other people say they shill a product, whatever. I will say that this unit will have to be more of a word of mouth. I will say that a lot of the quality of it is already in the Arcade Ultimate Control Panel. Right, that's like your interface. So people are already talking about that in the KVM. So that part's there. The only thing that people really don't know is the cabinet itself. Everything else there, my stuff's been out for a while and people already have it,
Yeah.
and the rotating screen, obviously. Um, so it's just a cabinet, and I can tell you, anyone who has the Ultimate Control Panel, that really thick Glenny wood that's used in that panel.
So
People know
what
how
is
solid
Glenny
and hard
wood?
that
Is
is.
Glenny wood from Canada, or is it US wood, or is it Chinese wood? I need to know
This is
Glenny
be
wood.
Chinese MDF wood. However, it
Yeah.
is a high quality industrial wood that's God, I'm trying to remember now. I have to look up myself. I forgot the thickness on it. I don't remember anymore. Oh yeah, so it's 15 millimeters for the outside. So all the T
Yeah.
molding is 15 millimeter, but the inside is 12. This thing is going to be built like a tank, and I still say I want Kongs and Mrs. Kongs to stand in the unit and show that it will not collapse and break.
Okay, so what I'm going to take from that is this is something I was asking you about before. Is there going to be any demos going out to YouTubers and stuff like that? I think you answered it. That's a pretty fair thing, and I think there's some people in the community that would actually find that to be refreshing. Like a lot of people like seeing reviews of actual owners and stuff like that. So
Right.
that's not necessarily a bad thing, Glenn. And people also have to understand you're a small business. So, I mean, you can't just be handing out like,
Right.
$1,000 cabinets to everybody to take
Full
a look at.
full transparency. There probably will be a singular unit you're going out to one YouTuber I've been talking to for a while. I don't want to not say who he is just yet, but only one YouTuber as of right now would be getting a unit for a few reasons.
Yeah.
But I think that some people getting it from this particular person um, would understand. And in talking to a few contacts, there may be a second unit going. And
Okay.
again, these it's just really because, like I said, it is a huge expense. It's not like I could do with my other things. So these would be very large influencers that have a very broad, literally million sub, you know, viewpoint. So outside of that, I just can't really afford to send out these particular units.
No cool toy?
No.
I
It
love
would not be
Doug.
anyone. No one in our space, unfortunately, could do it, and it's not because I don't want to, because you know me, I would if I could. But this particular project is really like the borderline of what we could do because
Yeah.
of what we're allowed to have as far as company resources and funding. And this one is going to be a pre-ordered device. We'll have one prototype. I will have the prototype. I'll show that one off. Now, obviously, Glenn Baisley and Bill from Bill's Retro Gaming Show live within 20 minutes or 5 minutes, literally from my house. And anyone else who's relatively close wants to come, I will actually, Mike, if you want to come over to the house, I can have you guys come
Well, we
here.
talked about this. If I
We
go
did.
to what is it, Retro World Expo, you
You're
told me I
staying
can
here.
stay with you. Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely staying here. No question about that.
I
But
do
that
want to get there because I was going to go a couple of years ago, but it was kind of like you. I had never been asked to come to a convention before. That's why Cleveland was so special for me. Like it was always a dream of mine back since 2012 of doing these YouTube videos to be asked to come to a convention. And, that was the first time I asked. A couple of years ago, I actually had like My Life in Gaming and also my buddy Mike Tendo, who were going to Retro World Con. And they
right.
were like, man, you got to bring in Mike B as a guest. Like, he'll pay his own travel and everything like that. Just make him a guest. And they were like, no, no. And I was like, yeah, well, fuck you, Retro World Expo. I'm not going to you.
Yep.
But I would
And
like
that's
to
the thing.
go
They're so
because,
close
yeah,
to me, and I've been talking to them for 5 years. And they go, "Yeah,
yeah,
we'll have you on," and they haven't. So again, at this point, I wouldn't. However, my friend, a few of my YouTube friends are going to be there, and I'll come visit them. And actually, I'm hoping that Danny Piscina will be there because I have a gift I've been trying to get him for a couple of years as well, and he's
yeah.
gone every time, and then I've been missing him. So
But he was
hopefully I
at
catch him.
Cleveland, wasn't he?
He was, but I wasn't there last time. He was there. We were there together,
Yeah.
But my gift for him wasn't ready, and it's ready now. So he wasn't there. He wasn't at Retro World. He wasn't at Long Island this year. So
You know
hopefully we'll
what's
catch him
funny?
this year.
I actually had a gift for Carrie Hoskins, and when I showed it to her, she
Yeah,
was
but you're
not
married.
receptive. She was not receptive.
Mike, you're married. You gotta be
Yeah.
careful with that.
Do you know I got in a lot of trouble at the Cleveland Gaming Expo because I was late coming in because I came in with P-dubs and we stayed behind a little bit. You know how everybody put those joke things on my booth, like kissing booth and stuff like
Because I
that?
was there the whole time. See, I was there the whole time, unlike some people.
Yeah, so kissing booth was up there. Anyways, I took a picture with it because I didn't give a shit. My wife saw it and she was like, "Oh my god, everybody's gonna think you're a sexual predator. You need to get that picture down." And I was like, "What did I do? I don't understand."
The the it was fun. It was all in fun. Tell you what, it was all in fun. That's all it was. We did kiss though, but that's just between us.
Yeah, but like we would have done that anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was pretty damn good actually. Two beards, man.
I know, I know. You get that friction. So like usually when you kiss and you're clean shaven, it's just a kiss. But when two
Yeah,
people kiss with beards,
it's a
ignites
man
the
kiss.
fire. No one hearing this because the midstream ads. MG heard it, of course. Anyways, so back to your product. So two huge YouTubers, Linus Tech Tips.
Potentially, maybe.
That would be an excellent choice. He's great.
Right.
I watch a lot of his stuff. His PC stuff, super smart, and also I've been watching on the VR stuff. Followed him on a lot of VR stuff, so that would be an amazing
And
one.
he's very. His team is very honest and fair.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that would be a really good choice. I completely support
It's up
that.
in the air though. It hasn't been. That has not been signed, sealed, or approved or anything. But potentially talks.
Who's the other one? Million subs. Well, Papa Brad might be there by the time this comes out. Who knows?
And he's actually, he's the person who would be able to field physical test that machine. Because have you ever seen him play? He smashes.
Yeah,
And
no, I haven't. And all kidding aside, like honestly, people give Brad a hard time. I don't know what's going on there. I don't really care, man. More power to him. I don't give a shit.
you know what the
People
big
need
thing is?
to stop worrying about what everybody else is doing.
Right. Just sit back. If you like the content, just enjoy the content. If you like
Exactly.
Pop Brad, I like Pop Brad. I have no problem with him. I really don't have a problem with many people, maybe 3 people in this world. I just don't, because you know what? You do your own thing. If you have a problem with it, go past. Don't
Yeah,
watch. It's so simple. That's it.
that's literally it. I don't know why people are so worried about it. People make videos about me all the time. They're like, he's wasting everybody's time. You're wasting your time by watching me if you don't enjoy me. Go
Right.
do something with your life.
Right.
Hey,
There's so
Papa
much more
Brad
to
is
do with
here.
your lives. There is. Hey, we like Pop
Yeah,
Brad. There we go.
no issue.
Yeah. But if you want to field test a product, make sure it doesn't break, it goes to Papa Brad because he used to live in daylights out of his
Yeah, I
box.
was wondering about that. Like one of the things about the arcade one up Tron cabinet, I don't know if you saw it. I just got it back, and I got to tell you, the connector that connects the joystick to the arcade, genius. Whoever came up with that, pure genius.
You know what? It was, and it was designed for a specific purpose. If you
Yeah.
didn't want the Tron joystick, for regular joystick, and for the company that when you steal it, try and do a better job making the stolen product versus having it break. Although I got a lot more sales out of it. So I
But
guess
but I always wondered how people were breaking their cab, and I guess it's like a different thing. Like you see some people play pinball, and they're literally having sex with the machine. They're like banging it and stuff. I'm like, what the
I
fuck
never
are
heard
you
it put it
doing,
that way
man?
before.
But
Okay.
like, you know what I mean? They're really rough with it, and like I always wondered that too. Like everybody was talking about these broken Tron joysticks, and I was like, how the fuck are you playing these arcades, guys? Am I doing something wrong? Are you supposed to be more forceful with?
There was when we designed our Tron stick. Now again, our stick was a little bit smaller because it was
Yeah,
designed for the arcade one up at the time. But it was a metal shaft with 2 points of screwing in to the base for strength, where they cheaped out because that's what they do. They had 1 point, and that was 1 point of failure, and it was thinner plastic, not an industrial plastic. So when you go back and forth like that, it would snap off.
yeah. Well, I always thought it was the fulcrum point too. If you look at it, the support ends at such a low point.
Yes.
That's one of the big issues with it.
Yep.
I will say their Tron joystick has your Tron joystick in only one aspect, and it's a little bit bigger.
It's
Like I
bigger and
need,
it's more accurate. It is more
yeah,
accurate as far as the look. We've had one in God 5 years. We've had our second gen stick, but it always falls to the wayside of other products coming out. So it'll come out eventually. But the cool thing about that one is I can't tell you because someone else will steal the idea. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut. And I'll say it will be very cool. It'll have some very
Arcade One
cool
Up's
features.
definitely not listening. You're fine. Go ahead.
No, no, but other people might be. So I will keep that under wraps. But when that
All
does come
right.
out, it will be just like all my other stuff. It'll be a game changer as far as what it can do over just the original Tron stick.
Yeah. All right, so back to your cab, Glenn. One of the big things that has changed recently is you were determined you were going to go with plywood. This was going to be plywood, and I guess the idea is for the arcade realism because all the original arcade cabs made with plywood. You made the transition to MDF. Now, why exactly did you do that? Was it the cost of the material? Because I've been told a lot of times the cost of material really between plywood and MDF is really not that big a deal.
Nope,
It's for
that wasn't
shipping,
it.
right?
It was not so much shipping. It was as far as going into other countries. So I
Yeah.
didn't know this. Like I'm like I'm in America. So you want to
Yeah.
get plywood, you get plywood, you build your cabinet, you're done. But if you're going between countries, like MDF is a processed product. So there's no spores, there's no mold, there's no bugs, anything. Now wood technically shouldn't have those things,
Yeah.
but in theory, it can transport spores and mold. So it has to go through a number of processes and also has to go through a validation with government agencies to leave the country
Mm.
and to come in the country. And that was it. I was like, "Oh, you gotta be kidding me. It was like thousands of dollars versus I do MDF, which as far as strength goes, our thickness would be more than adequate for it. And that kind of killed it. So again, I am not a large company. I am just like you guys, and I have my ideas how I want it done. But then my engineers and my other team members go, Glenn, just to let you know, there's these issues. And I'm like, screw it, let's do it anyway.
Yeah.
Then they start breaking down the cost. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I understand now why we can't do that. And but again, MDF will be more than adequate when you get this. I guarantee it.
I don't understand why you had to make any changes too. Why couldn't you just smuggle it in? Apparently, the borders at both Canada and Mexico are leaky like a sieve.
If I
No
had
one would
done
have
it
caught you.
last year, I could have just took it off the southern border. I could just pushed over the southern border. It'd have been fine, but it's too late now.
Yeah, I like for me. I mean, that announcement really was a non-factor. It didn't impact my decision-making process at all because I immediately thought of the build of the iArcade, and there's a lot of things you can say about the iArcade in terms of like quality of games, but one thing you can never say about it, man, that was a premium fucking arcade machine. Like
Yep.
just when you're building it, everything feels so different. It feels so much higher quality. I'll never forget building the first one. Now the first one got sent to me as a review unit from iArcade, but like, I was putting it together and like I wasn't super interested in the iArcade at the time. It was more of I'll give it a shot. This company's willing to send
Same.
it to me.
Exactly the same.
So they sent it out to me and the build, I was like, holy God, man, this feels so good putting this together. And then when you're playing the games, like even the games I was shitting on, like what was the first person shooter that they had on there? Dead Effect 2?
Yeah.
Like I remember when they announced this and they were like, we got Dead Effect 2. And I was like, why would you want to put that on an arcade cabinet? It's so stupid. But I had fun playing it all the
And
same,
then they put
right?
ease on there, and you change your
Yes,
tune.
I was very excited about these. It's totally not an arcade game. Like, why do you want to
No.
sit down for like 8 hours and play
Now,
a role playing game on?
think of what you just said about the iArcade and what I'm wearing
Yeah,
on this hat, and the support I've given to that. My cabinet will be that plus. Think of it
yeah,
that way. So if
yeah.
you were happy with the cabinet and the wood and that, mine will be that better. So
iArcade BYOG edition.
pretty much, pretty
Yeah,
much. I'm not gonna go less. I mean, I also agree with you. Before the iArcade, the ad games was I thought a great build, a great unit. The team molding came off, but outside of that,
yeah.
it was good. But once I got the iArcade, like you, I was not huge on it. I'm like, I didn't really see the
I didn't
need
get it.
for that
I
machine.
didn't. I didn't get
Right,
like where it stood or why. Right.
right. But once I put it together, like you said, the base alone, the stand blew me away. It's just phenomenal. I actually bought a couple of them on Amazon for like they were going for like 50, $60. I just bought a few. And actually Glenn Baisley, I gave him one. I said, here, take one. Because they were good stands for just anything.
Yeah.
Um, And like I said, the machine, I had a lot of fun with it. I still play Dono Dodo. Still a few games on the arcade side I play, but now I got my Viper, so I never even touch that anymore. But I still go back with Dono Dodo once in a while.
Dono Dono is fun. I also like those games that were modern games that also fit a retro mold. A lot of times they had some real winners there. Donut
The Wizard
Dodo,
of Wall, Wizard of
Wizard of
Walls. Oh,
Walls,
oh yeah, I love
fucking
that game.
awesome. What was the game that was free? That was the Robotron clone. That one was awesome too.
Oh yeah,
Satrin
yeah, yeah,
Deluxe.
yeah.
Satrin Deluxe.
But once in
Love
a while,
that.
my I don't know if you ever had the problem. Once in a while, my one of my joysticks didn't work. Like you had to reset the game, and both would work. I don't know. Maybe it was my
No,
machine.
I didn't have that issue. I had an issue for a while where it was just doing weird power things, like it was coming on and going off. And I mentioned it one time on a show, and like I don't know if you know, Escape from Popo was not good. Get out of here with that, Dr. Z. That's the stuff that shouldn't be there. But YouTubers can be weirdly competitive, even friends and stuff like that. So, one thing that happened, I mentioned on my show one time that I was having some power issues, and P Dubs jumped up and he was like, "Stop bringing that up to try to get a free cab." I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, man? I'm having power issues."
Did it get resolved? Did it get fixed?
Uh, yeah, it stopped. It was just this weird intermittent thing. It could have been a loose wire or whatever it was, but it was driving me nuts. Now I bought a gold and ended up selling. Yeah, I ended up selling my arcade, and I never heard from the guy after there were
I
any
remember you bought
additional
another
issues.
one. You have
Yeah,
another one now, so
yeah, I have another one now. For now, because much like you, at some point you got to downsize and make some space and be more realistic. So that's where I'm too on this. I'm in the process right now. I'm gonna mod it and I'm gonna see whether or not it stays because I got to make a place for the GRSFU, right?
that's right.
So
Damn right.
something comes in, something's got to go out. I'm in the process right now of I got a Legends Pinball Micro. It was in my daughter's room. She took it out of her room.
Does
So
yours smell?
what?
Does yours
Oh,
smell?
like how? What do you mean smell? You got to
I
be more
got the I
descriptive.
got the Legends Pinball Micro
Yeah.
and took it out. It has got this chemical smell that literally after 3 minutes I start getting dizzy and headaches. And I've left it outside. I put Febreze in there and laundry, anti-static things and anything to try and get the odor out of it. But it still has this incredibly pungent smell that when you're playing it, after a few minutes, you start getting literally ill.
I've always noticed that with all the At Games products, when I get them, they have a very distinctive smell to them at first. But I didn't notice it more so with the micro, if that's what you're asking.
Maybe they pooped in mine when they sent it out. I don't know.
Depends on who
Maybe.
sent it out. Anyways, that unfortunately, like I got an ALP 4K back there. I don't need multiple pinball machines, so
Right.
because my kids aren't playing it, I'm gonna send it out and maybe see if someone else can use it. They're not available here in Canada anymore, anyway, so it should be something somebody will be excited about. And maybe the iArcade goes, and that's going to make room for the Build A Cade here in my office. That's the plan. Anyways, more questions. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
I asked this to Iconic Arcade when they were out there. I'm going to ask this to you too. Glenn, who is your ideal customer for this? Who do you think the target customer is for the Build A Cade FU?
Honestly, I know I've watched other shows and everyone's like it's a multicade and it is a multicade and it is one you put together. But honestly, it really should be anyone. Uh, Anyone's my customer. Anyone that likes playing older games. Now, we're gonna have the Viper Venom in there, which will obviously do much more recent and more powerful systems in there. But if you like retro games, if you like playing console games, if you like streaming games, you want to play co-op games, it's going to do all that. That's the thing about the Build-A-Cade. You're going to make it the way you need it to be for yourself.
Yeah.
If you want someone who likes the older games like myself, you go for the 19-inch and you want to play the Donkey Kong and Pac-Man and Defender, Robotron 2084, Michael.
Yeah.
You're going to play it on that. If you're someone of a newer generation, you want to play your friends. Okay, so he gets even if it's just a Viper. Everyone gets a Viper or 1/6 Build a Cade and put it to your TV set. You can play Streets of Rage or whatever game you want to co-op play between your friends. If you want to play high end, Golden Tee or if you want to play Steam games, you can stream. I think I'm not sure if he did it yet, but I know that Bill's Retro Gaming Show was going to do a video showing how Moonlight works with streaming Steam to the Viper, which is going to be inside these machines. So the machine and that's the thing. I get a lot of comments from I don't I'm going to say people. Be nice.
Paul. You can just say Paul.
From people who say it's an ugly machine. It's not an arcade machine. Just well, first of all, the Build A Cade, the 1/6 scale, and the FU are both initially Nintendo cabinets. We
Yeah.
cut a piece out of it. So to say it's not an arcade cabinet, doesn't look like an arcade cabinet is a lie, because you put the hood piece in and it goes into a Nintendo cabinet. So if you want to say you don't like a Nintendo cabinet, that's fine, but it is an arcade cabinet. But there's no artwork on it. There's not supposed to be artwork on it. When I sold my Build A Cade kits, I would say 8% used our artwork. Everyone else wants to put on their own artwork, whether they design it themselves or they buy it from Arcade Graphics or Joe Sabos or 99 Live, anyone.
Do you think that's representative of the fact that people wanted to build their own cab, or representative of the fact that your artwork was so ugly they couldn't wait to put something else on it?
I wouldn't say it was ugly, but we tried to keep it
I know.
basic. When you buy when you think about the older like My Arcades or the old before we really started taking off with the retro stuff, when you bought like a $30 you know 601 little arcade kit, the artwork on there was horrible too. Uh, it's just really just to put something on there, but it's an expense.
Yeah.
So on a machine full size, it's a larger expense because we used a very thick uh, plastic for the artwork. So it's
Would you
better
say it's good sturdy plastic?
it is very good sturdy plastic, absolutely. Not
You,
quite not quite the same as a My Arcade shell, but it is.
you don't know how bad I wanted to fit that into the thumbnail I did for that review. I got it into the video, but I wanted it on the thumbnail, and I was like, "Oh, god damn it, it doesn't work." All right, it's going in the video.
But to be honest, the machine I think it looks great in black. Like even my Ultimate Arcade control panel, people want to put the artwork on there. I like
Yeah.
it black. I think it looks good. So it's up to the end user if they want to do it and how expensive they want to go. They can start with Arcade Graphics. They can do Escape Pod, or they can go Joe Sabos, depending on how much they want to spend on that artwork. And again, I think this was brought up on your show I was watching the other day. Not everything has to be bought day one.
No.
You can get the cabinet today, and you add later as you grow and decide what you want it to do. I still say right now, and I'm telling you today. I said this in other shows. My Thanos Part Two Endgame will be when OLED cuttable screens are cheap enough. I want to wrap my Build A Cade and FU in that. So when you
Yeah.
pick your game, the artwork's everywhere. Even you want cigarette stains. You want to see like virtual smoke coming off the thing. That's what before I die would love to see one of my units completely wrapped in an OLED screen. So when you pick a game, Zaxxon, Pac-Man, it's like it becomes that machine. And I think at that point, that's what a multicade will really be the only thing you would ever really need. Because when you pick that game, now the shape may be a little bit different. I get it, but I don't think you'll top that. Once you have a machine that can display the marquee,
Yeah.
all the artwork can actively change when you pick the game. That's it. That's we're there, and just play the games.
I want to transition because I think how I want to answer that also comes in play with the next question. Who do you think your competition is in the home arcade space? Your product, who do you think it directly competes with?
No one.
No one.
No one. I have no competition. Either you
So
want the best or you go with the rest.
You said you were going to answer me honestly, Glenn. I understand that.
That is an honest answer. That is an honest answer. This
Yeah.
will be the absolute best cabinet you can buy for the money. If you don't want the best, there's no competition for me. You can go with anyone else.
Okay.
That's I'm telling you from my heart. I'm putting and always have my heart and soul into all the products that we do. Now, there are other companies that build arcade machines, and they're fine. They're fine if that's what you want. I don't compete with them.
Yeah.
I'm simply saying if you want the best machine with the best controllers, with the best SBC, the best cabinet for the price, I have no competition. Therefore, there's no one to compete with. There's no one in the market that will meet what we do. That's my
Okay.
honest answer.
So you got a guy like Paul. Paul Mindeman, who you guys have gone back and forth a little bit during the chats,
I
like
love him though.
talking about your
I don't
product. We all
freedom of
love Paul.
speech. Yeah.
Like Paul. One week will be like your best friend, and then the next week he'll be like, "I don't like this you're doing." He's passionate about what he's doing and stuff like that, and that's
I'm happy
totally
for that.
cool, right? So, one thing Paul says that I think is lost in translation between this. There's a segment of this market who look at multicades and it doesn't appeal to them. Now, yours isn't just a multicade. I'm 100% with you on this. You have the ability to mod it, but maybe some of these people also have that fear like, I don't want to put artwork on. I don't want to be a tinkerer. I don't want to deal with bringing my games to the cabinet and stuff like that. So I think it gets lost in translation, but some people are looking for something that's ready built. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
And
like,
we did think about that. We did my couple people on my team said we should sell it completely assembled.
yeah.
They did.
No, no, no. I don't mean like that. I mean ready built, not assembled. I mean ready built. Your artwork's on it. It looks exactly like the arcade they want to play.
Yeah, but
Game's
I don't
already on.
that's like that is like New Wave Toys with my 1/6 Build A Cade. I don't compete with them. If you
Yeah.
want a replica, you're gonna go with New Wave Toys or Numbskull. They do beautiful machines for that. But they are a specific machine. You're spending $400, $300 for that. And you know me, I have gotten review units from New Wave Toys, but I also buy them. I have like two of
Yeah.
each. I absolutely support them 100%. I have the Numbskull Pac-Man and the Space Invaders Part 2, which I absolutely love. And I'm going to buy the Lunar Lander. Those are just phenomenal. I'm not competing with that. I'm selling a machine that it's called the Build a Cade for a reason. It's so you can make it the way you want. Now, if you want to get one ready made, then my machine is not for you, and that's okay. You
Exactly.
can definitely go with someone else. I would never tell you otherwise. And of course, I believe Cool Toy and other people in PW and yourself. I'm not here to tell you what to buy. I'm just telling you what I'm doing, hoping that you guys will agree that I have the best machine out there for what it is, and go for it. Now, as far as like games on there. I hear people saying I have no games installed. That's not true. So yes, I have the Adventures of Robbie Roto. Okay,
Yes.
I love
And
that
Robbie
game.
Roto's better than people give it credit for too.
It is. It is a
Yeah.
fun game. But remember that arcade has a game downloader built in. Now there is a license agreement you have to agree to, meaning you're taking responsibility saying I'm entitled to these other games. And then we have game consoles, we have arcade machines, all these. I'm playing Doom 3
Yeah.
beautifully on my standard Viper, not even the Venom. And all you do is you go in there, you pick, download. It pulls your artwork, it pulls everything down. It's done. So it's very easy to do. Now, if you want to add something that's not in those game lists, you can, and you have the games already, or you want to contact Cool Toy. He's still a friend of mine. Go to Cool Toy, get the cool ROMs,
Yeah.
and you can put it on an SD card, or you can put it on a USB or a hard drive like Bobby Vu. Load it that way. I give you pretty much every option to do it the way you want. And I do understand though, Mike, and I hear what you're saying, that like Paul and certain people want that already pre-made
Yeah.
cookie versus going and make your cookies fresh. And that's fine. I'm not, at least not yet. I'm not in that segment. I'm in the segment of I want you guys to get this machine, have all the right controls and out of the box initially. And now you've made this comment a number of times about the spinner, and I get that. I made my joysticks removable, or you could buy a separate deck with just spinners or just this.
Yeah.
It's to make it when you were a kid, you had a vision in your head of what a machine should be. This will be the machine that lets you do that the easiest way possible without having to really go into cutting wood or finding controllers. Even now, behind me in this screen here, if I pull it up here, where is it?
I knew you had multiple screens. I knew you couldn't
I
stop
did.
yourself.
Where is it?
I've been enjoying watching E's TurboGrafx 16 CD
Right here.
behind you, book one and
So
two.
you can see I got my 99 lives
Yeah.
Akari Warrior stick here. So what I'm doing is I'm testing to make sure that the stick and the controls are set up for all those spinner games. So when you plug it into my FU or my regular one, arcade will be self-aware, saying, "Okay, you plugged in one Akari stick or two Glen's Akari sticks." It sets everything up already. So you just go into the games and play it. The Star Wars yoke, steering wheels, all these things will be set up already. So to a degree, even though yes, you're putting it together, and yes, it's something you do on your own, we're trying to make it as easy as possible. But it will never be. I want to say like an iPhone. We're going to be Android over an iPhone.
Yeah.
Okay, type of thing.
Different mentality.
It is. So I'm
Yeah.
not competing. I'm not here to sell it to everyone. I'm not. I'd be happy if I sold it. I don't know, 500, 600. I'd be happy at that. Of course, I always hope it'd be more.
Yeah.
But if that's what I did, and I'll tell you real quick, we just I think finally closed the pre-orders for the KVM, and we did sell 200, but it took a lot longer than
Yes.
we thought.
Yeah.
So we did sell 200. So I'm not at the point yet where we're selling millions and millions or thousands and thousands of these machines. But for the people who really want the best at a price that's unbelievable, this is where you go. That's what I'm all about. So take that as what you will. But
Yeah.
you've used my stuff. You've definitely sampled Glenny goods. You felt my stick.
I did.
Right. So
Your
that's
stick
what
was
I'm about.
crooked and to the side. And then when I
It
asked for
is.
help, you told me it was the right way and I was wrong. No, but like I've had your spinner, I've had your yoke, and both experiences were sublime. Like installing it, everything that goes into the thought process, ease of use. The only problem with it is when you're putting into an arcade one up, they use all that goddamn glue. So that's the only problem,
Right.
getting the connectors out. But once your stuff's in there, man, you never want to go back. It's awesome.
And
So
and think
I
of
can,
this one thing as well. Out of all the companies that do sell machines, like your Arcade Done Up
yeah.
or anyone else,
I don't understand what company you're talking about there. I'm not familiar
right?
with a company called Arcade Done Up.
When you think of all these other companies, now I remember I'm a small fry. They're definitely bigger than me. I'm a small fry.
Yeah.
Sinden,
Well, it
Sinden,
depends. We don't really know how they are now. You haven't asked for a loan
true.
against your accounts
I
receivable.
have not. But just think of this as what it is. We've been making our products for a while. Sinden Technologies reached out to us to make a new gun for them. Then Sinden Target Pro
Yeah.
came from that creation. Got a car stick behind me right now. SNK, an arcade company. Okay, they're not as big as they were in the 80s, but SNK, Neo Geo, I mean, they're a huge company. King of Fighters, they came to us to fully license this joystick that we created. So just think of that for a moment. That
It, which
these companies came to us.
which is absolutely awesome, Glenn. And I was one of the first persons to congratulate you on that because I know this is the dream. Like for me, like doing this stuff like on YouTube and stuff like this, like the opportunity to speak to companies like yourself, Arcade One Up, Iconic Arcade, At Games, all that stuff. That's something I never foresaw for myself, even when I started my channel. Like I grew up watching. This is a Canadian show. You probably don't know it. It was called Electric Playground and Reviews on the Run with Victor Lucas. And even though he's considered a pariah now because of the whole Coleco, what is it? Coleco, what was it? I
Chameleon?
can't remember.
The chameleon?
Coleco Chameleon or whatever it was. In Television Amico, Tommy Tallarico was
Hmm.
back on that show in the day. And like you would watch that and you'd be like, man, like the opportunity to, talk to these companies and you get these interviews, like never happened in a million years for me. And then you experience it and you're like, holy shit, man. Like, I can't believe this. So for you, having a company like that reach out to you and we're like, yeah, we're SNK. We want to do this with you. That must have felt like
Yeah.
just like, such a rewarding moment.
Right. And think of it also. You have the Polycade. The
Yeah.
Polycade, they use our products. You have companies like X Arcade. They've been a partner of ours for a number of years. They use our products. You have American Gear companies. You have all these companies using my stuff. There's got to be a reason. I mean, just
But it's just
saying.
because you're so damn sexy. Like it has nothing to do
Well,
with the
that I
product.
can't help.
And you keep telling them to F you and they're like, got to use his products. I want them to stop swearing at me. All right. So another thing you mentioned over and over again, I'm going to harp on you about this, and I
Yep.
know you're not going to answer me, but I'm going to try. You
Hmm.
keep saying for the price, for the price. When are we going to find out officially what the price is? Because I know
It
a lot of
shouldn't
people are
be.
waiting on
Yep.
that.
It shouldn't be much longer. So we would have the original thing at CES was we were going to release and start the pre-orders at that point. But when we had our first prototype come through and I saw what it looked like, I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah.
That the marquee was way too big. There's a couple other errors in there, and of course, someone kept harping me about a 26-inch screen. So because
Yeah.
of
What an
those,
asshole.
that son of a
He
bitch
harassed
guy.
another company about their side art. This
Ah,
guy's a menace.
so because of that, we had to go back and we had to have a second prototype made. But of course, when we did that, then Chinese New Year started.
Yeah.
So we lost a month. So my team is just back literally like today. Today was Monday, right? So they just went back today. So the new prototype is being assembled. So we got to put it together. We got to put all of the ultimate control panel parts in. We got to put in the 19-inch rotating mechanism. We got to try the 26-inch screen. We got to try Al Links, a bit LCD and LED. They have to be tried out. We got to test it all out, and then when we do that, we'll get some B-roll of that, and that'll get broken down, shipped to me here, and then definitely for sure, Glenn Baisley and Bill from Bill's Retro Gaming Show will be here, and anyone else who's close enough wants to see it, we'll do that.
We can all come
And the-
stay at your house, right?
absolutely,
All
absolutely.
right. I'm on
I
my
got the
way.
spare bedroom. I got a spare bedroom
Oh
that I
no,
have
I'm
now.
not. I'm not staying in the spare. I'll sleep in the master with
Right
you.
next to
Like,
me.
don't be weird about it.
Blue's in the middle. Blue's got to sit in the middle.
So the
Um,
first time we got together at a gaming convention, Justin, like I didn't think anything. I'm from Newfoundland. It's a really small place, so we don't think about it. Like, everybody just went to bed like normally. Justin used to lock his door. He was like, "This is my private place," and like whenever he would get up, I would just go into his room, and he'd be like, "Why are you going in my room?" And I was like, don't make a big deal about it. Don't be weird." But like he was so weird about it. He locked his door because you don't know who these people are. Like you see Fox on TV, you're like, it's a stand-up guy, but next thing you know, he's creeping your room while you're sleeping. You don't know.
I think you grabbed my ass
Or
twice at the show.
or if you're P-dubs, you just try to take a little bit of a nap because you're tired, and then some asshole takes a picture of you and posts it on the internet.
You draw a little thing on his face over here.
No, I should have.
Next time.
All right, so price, we're not going to get it yet.
Yeah, very soon. Like I said, because basically once we build this and I give the thumbs up saying yes, the marquee is good. We have a good view down to the screen, everything. Then we got to say 60 screws,
Yeah.
5 of these, 10 of those. Break that price down. Then we can finally come up with a price. But I'm telling you, I'm going to really try and get the price down as low as I can. I'm saying under 1,000. I'm going to do that for the 19-inch. 26-inch, I'll get as close. Not, it's going to go over a little bit, obviously, because the screen's more money. But I'm going to do the best I can there. Again, I've always, as you guys know, I've had a sale going on for a while. I was losing my shirt on my Build A Cades, my yoke, the Kari sticks, all these things, because I want you guys to have it. And I'm gonna do the same thing here if I can.
Yeah, Glenn's not joking. Like he literally tries to send you stuff. He's like, "Hey, Mike, I might have a KVM switcher and a GRS Ultimate Control Panel. I can send it to you." I'm like, "No, Glenn, that's a lot of money. Don't worry about it, man." No, seriously, I'll send it to you. I'm like, "No."
It's just what I do. If I can help
I know.
people out, I try and do that. That's just who I am as a person.
You're a good dude. So I know you can't officially say it. I'm just gonna say some things, and then don't react. So you're looking at $999.99 for the 19-inch. I would say it's safe to assume people should save up that much money if they're interested in buying that.
Well, I would say that I'm saying under $1,000, so I would ballpark $1,000. Now,
Yeah.
of course, like anything else, if it's much less, it's $200 in shipping right now. So it goes to the shipping.
We're gonna talk about that in a second.
I
So
knew
yeah.
you were going to do that too.
Yeah. So and then for the 26-inch screen, 1,199.
But potentially, it could be. I will say that and thanks to so many people, including 19K Fox. We were doing a lot of stuff.
Didn't he
with
screw
Unico.
up the deal? I remember him
He-
screwing up the deal.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Let's
You're,
do full
this is Glenn. This is
transparency.
Glenn's gonna be like, no. It wasn't Fox's fault. It's
What?
my
No,
fault.
it's really it
Glenn-
was my fault. It's my fault.
Like someone could like literally steal from Glenn's house, and Glenn would be like, listen, this is my fault. I should have double locked the doors, dude. I am sorry.
Yep. Well, here's the thing. Like I said, we're a small team.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in the U.S. We have a very small team. We have Arcade Workshop here, and a couple of people in the States, but the majority are in China or Newfoundland. We have a couple of people out there, but we do things very differently. I mean, when one person talks, it's all of us talking. We're
Yeah.
all the same level. Where Unico, I didn't realize that, and my team that didn't realize that Unico China and Unico USA, they're the same company like Sega USA and Sega Japan, but they're still independent, and
Yeah.
each side makes its own deals. Just didn't realize that. So I was making my deal on one side, my team was making a deal on the other side, and then Unico was like, "What the fuck's going on over here?" And it caused a problem. So it really wasn't his fault. It was my fault, and not realizing that dynamic. Once we did that, I had a great talk with Unico and Jay, and we struck a deal. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, I think I told you, I posted my CS video not fully knowing yet if that 19-inch was going to be in there, and have to edit the video really quick out. And Jay was really good. He's like, listen, we want to work with you. We try, and we did. And
Yeah.
so we could do that. Now, me personally, I'm still saying I want the 19-inch. That's just me. I want that rotating screen. But I know a lot of people do. And I found, Mike, I always found is very weird is that like certain shows, like it's like 26 inches is the way to go. That in other shows it's 19-inch. And the polls I'm doing, I would say probably 60% want the 19-inch and 40% want the 26. But you know what? I've always been about choice. So if that's what people want, we'll do it. In fact, just for you, I've been standing in front of my huge TV set, like 2 feet away from it, to simulate a 26-inch screen. Like this is crazy, but we'll do it.
Yeah. Okay. So I appreciate it, Glenn. I do think that a large number of people are going to enjoy the 26-inch screen. Might only be 40% right now, but like there's variables there, right? Because the 19-inch comes with that sweet auto rotate, where the 26 doesn't have the auto rotate. So let's call a spade a spade. Auto
Right.
rotate. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the
And the
other thing
higher
too is
price,
I'm
right?
really trying hard to make sure. Let's say you bought the 26-inch, or let's say you bought the 19-inch.
Yeah.
I want to make it so it'll be easy to swap those out without a lot of dissembly. I literally want it to be like yank out and put the 19 rotating screen in. Again, I want things to be very plug and play and very easy to do.
So I remember I got into you know the way I'm, Glenn. If I want something, I'm vocal about it. I don't believe in
Oh, I know.
sugarcoating. I don't believe in sugarcoating things to companies and stuff like that. I'll just fucking tell them because, if they don't want to work with me, they don't want to work with me. I don't give a shit. At the end of the day, it's what it is. So I've always been very vocal to the fact that it probably does me no favors. But I said I wanted the 26-inch, and people were coming at me online. They're like, "You don't know what you're talking about. No arcades back in the day had 19 inches," and I was like, no arcades back in the day had 26 inches. I'm like, I'm
In the
fucking aware.
90s,
Like
they
they
said
had
90s.
they had 19 inches for some vertical, and like then in the mid 80s to 90s, they switched to a 25-inch tube. But since there's no 25-inch LCD panel, 26 is the closest option. And then they're like, oh, everything was 19-inch. And I'm like, what is wrong with people? Like, do some research. Like, if you're gonna state facts at me, like make sure you're right.
A lot of people didn't grow up in the era, and that's the thing. Like I say, it all depends also when you grew up. I grew up obviously when the arcades were just literally Pong and Breakout and Space War.
Yeah.
That's when I grew up. So some of those were 13-inch, 13
Oh, I
inch.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you had some Pac-Mans using black and white tubes and some had color. And my Zaxxon back there is a 19-inch CRT, and that one.
Yeah,
That's just
a
the era
lot of
I
them
was most
a lot of them are, and like I
right,
told you, there's a 19-inch in Robotron, right?
right.
So, like,
Yeah.
I get it.
But after my stay in the arcades, when like Mortal Kombat was coming out and these other King of Fighters, Neo Geo, when they came out, that was a 25-inch. That's when that started. So I missed that boat. So I don't have the nostalgia for the 26-inch, but I can definitely understand why people do want that. And of course, it's always nice having a larger screen. It is. Uh, just I want it to change by itself. I'm a gadget guy. I want it to.
Well, you know how it is. Like a girl gets you, and then like you're making love, and she's like, that's a good size. Like that's okay, but really, she wants a really big one, right?
I try not to put the whole thing in. That's the only thing I can do.
Bobby A. All you knows what it is. It's the internet. You don't have to have all the facts to shout off. Yeah, 100%. Like I think you get caught up in things. The person came at me specifically saying, "You always say this about arcade authenticity, but then you don't want a 19-inch screen." And I was like, dude, I'm buying it as a multicade. Like, there's a reason.
Right. If
I
you're
want the
if you're
26-inch
buying
screen.
if you're buying a Neo Geo recreation, it probably should have a 26-inch because 25 you're not going to get. You want that. If you want a Donkey Kong or an Asteroids or a Zaxxon, it's going to be a 19-inch. If you want a Pong, it's going to be a 13-inch.
Yeah.
That's what you would do if you do. But this is not a true. Even when you make it a Donkey Kong cabinet, if you look at my Build A Cades, it's a really close facsimile of a Donkey Kong or a Popeye or that Nintendo style cabinet. And that's what this will be too in the FU, but it's not going to be bolt for bolt perfection. That's going to be for someone else to do.
MG is so nice. Have you ever had a conversation with MG? What a swell guy. He never points out anybody's flaws. Really quickly, Glenn, shipping $200.
Yep.
So, a lot of people are going to see that and understand what you're selling and be like, wow, great job, Glenn. That's a really good price for what you're putting out there. How are you going to address the people that have that Amazon mindset? Like, there's people out there that are like, wait a minute, it doesn't have free shipping. Like, no comprehension that this is a small business and like you're working with what you are. Explain the shipping to you and
Sure.
seriously stuff like that.
Absolutely. First of all, there is no such thing as free shipping. You're
No,
paying
it's
for it.
subsidized shipping. Yeah.
Right. You're paying for it. So I could have said, okay, I'll sell you a machine for 11.99 and shipping is included. I mean, that's basically what we're talking about. That's no different than anyone else. Um, that's really all to say on it. Now, as far as the shipping goes, I'm still working very hard. My Canadian friends,
Yeah.
my European friends, my Australian friends, we're still trying to hash all that stuff out. The only thing I can comment on really is the USA shipping. So that's the only one that's been finalized. But we're trying to work a couple of deals out, especially with Canada. 'Cause again, Michael B wants 26-inch screen, and now we can't get it. So like that's not right. So
Oh
we have to
no, no. Oh,
make sure that
I'm
you can.
I'm gonna get it one way or another, Glenn.
Well, we
One
are,
way
but
or
I
another.
also don't think you should be penalized because
Yeah.
you're not the 51st state yet. That's coming sometime this year. But until that happens, even if I got to go to the border and just slide it across the road, here you go.
I'll just put it in my carry-on when I come home from Retro World. Like, it's not a big deal. I'm
Eh,
sure it'll be fine.
200 pounds, yeah, I'll get on there.
Uh so $200 shipping, you'd have to compare it to other products of like a similar nature. So the one I compared it to when I talked to you about this was the Unico Nova Blast. The Unico Nova
Right.
Blast, big Jesus metal cabinet, and that's being shipped domestically in the United States for, I think it's 250. That's the price point. So it's comparable to that. I think that's what people should look at when they're looking at this. If you're expecting like free shipping or $100 shipping, I can tell you right now, like, I know the At Games Legends Pinball 4K is huge, but I also had conversations with PK where he openly told me, listen, we subsidize the hell out of that shipping just to make sure people get it in their homes. And we're hoping to make that back on software sales and stuff like
Right.
that.
And I want to clarify the $200 shipping right now is quoted for the 19-inch. I don't know the weight with the 26-inch yet, so it might be a little bit more. Could still be the same. But I want to make sure someone says, "Oh, you said $200 and it's 225 for the." I've got the 26. I don't have the shipping on the 26-inch. We just got the panel from Unico,
Yeah.
so I can only talk about $200 as of today. It may change again. Gas prices can go up, go down. According to Trump, gas prices should go down. So I'm assuming that should be
Oh,
passed on savings.
not if the tariffs go in place. Oh.
So it's all these outside things that again no one can do. All I
Yeah.
can say is if you're on the market for a machine and you like the features that I have, I'm gonna get you the best price. I can't control tariffs, I can't control shipping. That's completely outside my control.
Buy stuff store. We were talking about you guys at the beginning of the show. Got a stay of execution. Poor bastards were working their asses off over the weekend trying to get the stuff out before the tariffs. Luckily, they got a little bit more time. Yeah, so $200 shipping for the 19-inch. That's confirmed right now. Still working on Canadian shipping and stuff like that. It's appreciated you're trying to do it. Again, I ask people, I'm going to shill for you here right now. In disclosure, I've talked to Glenn personally at an event, and I talked to him on Facebook, so I consider him a friend.
Yep. And
So
he's kissed me and he's
disclosure,
grabbed my ass and he's picked me up. He's,
disclosure.
he's in everything.
But
Done it all.
I do think that where you're coming in really lower, but comparable pricing to the Unico Nova Blast for shipping, I think that's pretty fair. I think that if people are going to be upset about that, maybe it's not the cab for them, anyways.
Right. And again, even if you don't buy it today, things can happen down in the future. Maybe shipping will get better. We'll find other things. I'm just telling you how it is as of right now. We're still hoping by the end of this month to open up the pre-orders. And Cami, of course, Cami's got to get one, of course. And then hopefully shipping in June, July timeframe. But again, it's still all fluid. And all
Yeah.
that's as of today. That's the plan.
So these are not going to be North American based because I know Cami and a couple other people have wrote me from different parts of Europe. Our buddy Tony, Electric Adventures,
Yep.
even talked about it. So
Yep.
is he going to be ordered? Where's Tony to? Tony's down in like Tasmania, isn't
Yeah.
he?
Well, so is Cami, if I'm not mistaken, down over there. And I love those guys. And
Yeah.
if they want, I want to make sure that they can get it. But again, I don't want them to be ripped off. That's my big
Yeah.
thing. We're talking to so many different people because I'm trying to get the best price, but I want to make sure it gets there safe too. Not end up, by some Joey bag of donuts, taking it on the
Yeah.
back of a camel, and throwing it and damaging it when it gets there.
So it will be available, just trying to figure out shipping.
Yes.
And if somebody wants to pay like insane shipping because they just want one, you're still going to accommodate them. It's not going to be region locked anywhere, right?
No, we've never done that. There's been times when we sold on Amazon where 'cause shipping was, as you said, was better that way, and people tried getting it through Amazon, and we couldn't accommodate them because Amazon was charging us up the wazoo. People don't realize that Amazon's not so good to the sellers. They're great
No.
to the people buying it, and that's how we started out.
Awesome. Free
Yeah.
shipping. And nobody
Yep.
got effed in the ass on this
Yep.
deal at
I can't
all.
tell you. I cannot tell you how many times I got returns. Opened up the
Yeah.
box, and it was an arcade one up trackball, an arcade one up spinner, and Amazon didn't care. I'm like, listen, not only is this not my product, it's the product they replaced.
My
They
product
sent
with.
back that
Yeah.
product, and Amazon didn't care. So we lost a lot of money. So we ended up having to pretty much abandon Amazon, but it was needed in the beginning because it's safe. People
Yeah.
say, "Oh, I buy something, I can return it. I'm protected." And we were the number one gaming accessory 2 times in a row with our spinner on Amazon when it first came out, which was huge. We were nobody, and then the number one gaming accessory 2 times in a row on Amazon, which I thought was phenomenal. So we uh, needed it at the time. Now it just doesn't make sense to us because warehouse costs they're charging, and we boxes of dirt coming back, and they kept the product. We can't stay in business that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not far off from what you're selling it at anyways.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We are already very inexpensive as it is. So
Yeah.
anytime a product is stolen, and the person who's the company selling it, like a big multi-trillion-dollar company like
I
Amazon,
know.
doesn't even care, and they don't want to hear it. Or
Yep.
eStats, eStats, like Arcade Done Up, stole our spinner and trackball, and they were marketing and selling their own cheaper. Then people would get it, and the trackball spinner would lock up because of bad bearings or stop working. And I get a return, and I look at the motherboard, and it says eStats. They bought mine then, and then
Yeah.
returned eStats. We can't do business that way. If that continues, we go out of business because we can't afford to eat product like that.
All right, Glenn. So did I have anything else? I'm just trying to think now. I know a lot of people were asking about pricing because they want to know full tilt pricing. So not just the
Yep.
pricing for the machine, but for the accessories. Now, for the accessories, are they going to be sold directly through Thunderstick, or are they going to be sold through third parties?
Both. We will
Both.
definitely have ours, and then we have our partners, which I've been very open with. We have 99 Lives Arcade, Do It Yourself Retro Arcade, Joe Sabo's, Escape Pod, Arcade Graphics, uh, Al Link, obviously Arcade. We have a few other people I'm still in talks with right now. So we will have products that we sell, but if you want to get some other products, you purchase directly from them because it'll be cheaper. Why would we buy it from them? Then we have to take a little markup and then sell it again. So
Yeah.
we're making sure on our side that our machine will fit it, will accommodate it, the ports, everything you need for those products will be there. But you buy it direct from that person, best price. It makes more sense to do it that way.
So I think the part specifically people are asking about the hood to turn it into a Nintendo cab. Is that going to be GRS or is that going to be third party?
Maybe yes, no.
Give me a straight answer, Glenn. Damn it.
The straight answer is me personally, I don't think we should sell that part. We should have one of our partners sell that part. This way there's no issue with anything. And that's just
Yeah.
my personal thing about it. And we have some very good partners who can definitely do that very well. So I'm going to say right now, my initial thought is that hood will be sold by a third party to add to the machine.
Now, my buddy Stockjock, I don't know if you've ever met Stockjock, like one of the super nicest guys in the community, does everything for everybody. Do you know he went out today and his poor back, he went to the Costco near him because he wanted to reap that dollar 99, $199 Golden Tee
Yep.
Midway Costco
Yep.
deal. Not only did he pick up one, he also went out and got 3 more for some of his arcade anonymous buddies he's going to ship out to him because it wasn't available in the area. Super nice guy. Stock Jock likes your idea, but he's nervous about a full size arcade. Maybe he's a little bit like nostalgia. Anything that's big really makes him feel self conscious. Maybe that's just nostalgia. I don't know. So he's wondering: is there a possibility after the GRS FU comes out, a Build A Cade FU, Could you look at possibly doing a Build A Cade 3/4 or a Build A Cade XL, something in different size variations?
What I will say is my roadmap was always the 1/6 scale, the standalone Viper, which you will be start seeing in third-party products, some very high-profile products, by the way. Vipers will be going into those. The FU, full-size cabinet. However, I do have another console that will be coming out that I can't talk about just yet, but I will say it ties into the whole ecosystem.
I don't know what that means.
I
Explain
know,
it
isn't
to me
that
like I
great?
was 5.
Isn't that great? Give you guys stuff to talk about for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Why do you do that? So
I will say this other product is also Viper based. It'll also be able to, use other machines if you don't want to use the Viper. It will take swappable control decks, but it will not be the FU. It will not be a 1/6 scale, but it'll be something else.
all right, going back to the swappable control decks, is that a product you're gonna be making at GRS Thunderstick?
Uh, yes, but no. So we will definitely be making our own versions. Like I'll make my Akari sticks and Star Wars and Tron and the 3-inch trackball and the Ultimate Control Pad. We're gonna have all our decks, all the ones I talked about, and I could talk about the ones we're designing. But we're also going to release the information to third parties and all of you. If
Yeah.
you already have a Star Wars flight yoke or Akari sticks, cut the piece of wood. We'll give you the dimensions. There you go. Pop it in yourself. And that's why we're making it USB. Originally, I was going to use pogo pins, so it was just you just connect it, and it was done. Now you got to plug in USB and do it. But by doing USB, it's easy for us, easy for third parties, easy for you guys to make your own decks. So we absolutely make our own, but we're going to have partners like 99 Lives Arcade and Do Yourself Retro Arcade. And then there's you guys yourselves. If you guys are good at cutting wood and you find it making your own panel and decks, you will have all the dimensions and everything you need, all the parts to make it self-locking, everything. We'll have all that available for people doing it. So it'll be three
I
different ways to do it.
I know we're a really small demographic here in Canada, but we do have a store here in Canada. They're really busy. Sometimes they charge a lot. Called Buy Stuff Store. Any chance you would possibly work with them on some of these panels,
I
maybe or
hope
something?
I don't think they'll mind me saying that we'll be working with them on multiple tiers,
Yeah,
a few different things, just to let you guys know. I don't want to go and say what they are, but yes, Buy Stuff Store, they're a great company, do great things, and that's who I partner with. And the answer is we'll be working with them. I'm not going to say what.
hey,
Not going to say what yet.
hey, I like it. I like it. Glenn, that makes me very happy. So, anything you want to say? Well, I do got to find out about this.
Mm.
You said, okay, couple. This is actually opening up a can of worms. So, I did a show last week talking about which one should you buy? Competition. I know you got to probably go, or you're busy, or something. Look at me. I demand attention.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I did a show last week talking about oh my god, Glenn's gone. I did a show last week talking about competition, and people didn't understand it. It was specifically talking about people that are looking to buy both, because you'll have people like Paul last week. He's like, I'm all in on Iconic Arcade, and then you have other people, I'm all in on Build A Cade Viper. But there's people who want both of these things, and the timelines unfortunately line up almost exactly from the Iconic Arcade pre-order to delivery to the Build A Cade FU pre-order and delivery. So like, is it just happenstance? Like, that wasn't planned that way. I mean, it's just one of those
No,
situations, right?
I've been trying to get this done last year. I wanted this
Yeah.
in 24, and it just kind of got because I blurted out. I forgot how long ago I blurted out because I want to say, God damn it, we've been planning to do this anyway for a long time, and it just how it works out that way. We remember also these Chinese manufacturing plants
Yeah.
work also in their stages. You have to get them at the right time to get it done. Now, fortunately, we actually have mostly our own. That's the one good thing I can tell you about all of our products, including the FU, is about 98% of the items, the wood, the components, is in house.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Like the Unicode display, obviously, we have to purchase that. If people want, the outlink stuff, that's not going to be ours, and so forth. But most of it's done in house. And but even like I said, we're a small subsidiary of a larger arcade manufacturer, so we still have to work within constraints of within them. And that's just when it worked out. And again, it could slip. I'm just being totally honest. It could slip a little further back. It definitely won't be sooner, but we're planning for the June July timeframe. But if something should happen, if we notice something wrong, I'm not going to ship something with something wrong. We'll fix it. Then we got to test it, and then we'll make a new timetable. But right now, as of today, June July for shipping, and end of this month for taking pre-orders. But again, it's still fluid until we do it. It's not done.
So could the pre-order date slip a little bit because you said you're still in the pricing stage right now? Obviously, you want to make sure you have all your ducks in a row
Yep.
before you put that price out there.
Right, because one of the mistakes we learned from was when we did our Kickstarter for the Star Wars yoke.
Yeah.
When we did that, we think we was only looking for like 30,000. We got like 52,000 on Kickstarter. But in realizing all the work we still were doing in that, we still lost money initially on that.
Yeah.
Because if you did like the top tier, you got the Star Wars yoke, you got the Tron stick, you got the trackball, you got my old spinner, you got this. We gave you like so many different things. We lost money on it. So again, we're not businessmen, we're gamers,
Yeah.
but we're learning. So this time we're going to try to take that part a little bit slower to make sure we do it right. But as of right now, that's still end of the month, June, July for shipping. That's still the
Perfect.
current plan.
So people can expect to see this on the GRS Thunderstick page by plan. End of February, that's when they can put down their orders. That's
Right.
when, what is it, the middle? I don't know the term. Anyways, that's when you can do it, guys.
Right. And hopefully by the very end of this month or middle of beginning of March, we'll have the prototype here in the States, and
Yeah.
we'll have a couple of YouTubers, myself, looking at it and giving their thoughts on it. And we'll go
Will
from
they
there.
be good YouTubers?
Hopefully, I think so. And to be quite honest, if I get some really feedback that really says something's like wrong, I may think again. I'm going by how I feel it should be. And if I get enough opinions from these other people saying, "Glenn, this is not right. It doesn't feel right," and I got to make an adjustment, that could delay it as well. Because I'm going to say, guys, this is a valid point. This is something that's a problem. We need to fix it, and we'll fix it. I don't want to ship it out and someone putting it together and going, "We got to wait 6 months for someone to fix it." I'd rather have it done, delay it, and have it done right than ship it out just to ship it out. I don't want to do that.
So what if a bunch of people decided they were going to go to Retro World Expo? Could you arrange some kind of showing or something like that? Like, say if we were all going to Retro World Expo or a bunch of us were, we wanted to go check out your machine. Could you set something up where we could play it and do
Yeah,
something with
because
it?
definitely Retro World Show is 1 hour from my house.
Yeah.
You guys could just drive here. We'll get drunk at the bar over here, or I'll get you drunk at my house, and just don't trash my house. Just don't
I
do what I've
can't
seen
make
the
any
hotels.
promises,
I've
Glenn.
seen the
I'm sorry.
hotels what you guys have done.
All right, really quickly now, I'm going to play on you as the content creator now. Ask you questions about a couple other products that are out in the space right now. Have you been following Wonderland Amusements with the three-quarter scale
Yes.
pinball? What do you think of
Yeah,
that?
I'm going to admit when I first saw the first one and the price, I was like, it's not gonna be very good. However, the last video that they showed is still 3D printed on there, but it was quite impressive.
Yeah.
I kind of liked what I saw, so my hope is going up quite a bit on that. So I think if what I'm seeing right now is only gonna get better because it's 3D printed, this might not be a bad little machine. Now, again, some people say $1,000 is it's one table. It is, but there's a big difference between a physical pinball and a V pin. I have obviously V pin. I've set it up and I've had it playing over here. I got my 1/6 scale ones, and they're fun. But there's something like Atari. You can have a multi cartridge or the
Yeah.
real ones. I got the multi carts. I got all the games, but something about putting that real ET in there just
E.T.
says
Glenn,
just
get the hell
says.
out of here. If you're not playing Plaque Attack, I don't want to hear from you.
But it's weird. It's in our heads.
Yeah.
Even though every game ROM is on this multi cart, there's something about that real cart that makes it feel more special. Same thing with virtual pinball. It's fun, but playing physical with the real ball, the real dynamics of that ball. And I think if they could do it under $1,000, going what I seen they changed the artwork too. I know P Dubs, and I also agreed, hated that zombie like Alice artwork.
I, I
The new
would I,
artwork is much better.
I would argue Alice wasn't zombie like. Alice, if you go back to the original story, it's a tale of drug use. She
But
looked like she had used drugs, which is on brand for the
That
original
it would
story.
be, it would be.
Yeah.
But I agree with him that looked too much like a
Yeah,
Beetlejuice type of
yeah.
Alice
It,
versus more
it
like a Disney Alice.
I think that's the artist's style anyways, everything's really
Yes.
dark, so, that was the idea, but I like the changes they made.
Yep.
I will say that I will say this, there's 2 drawbacks right now, like, I love what Wonderland's doing, I love the possibilities, but Kickstarter's a tough one, because Kickstarter is always gonna be risque, because you always run the risk of what happens if this doesn't come to fruition, but I think the guys are moving in the right direction. And number 2, I'm very impressed by the video. I think it added a lot more credibility to what they're doing. But it's one of those things I think they need to get out there and get people playing it. Like people need to get this in their hands and
Yep.
show it off before people are going to take them seriously.
But I still think under $1,000, I think that's pretty much a miracle for a
Yeah.
physical pinball for the quality that it looks visually. I mean, it really does look nice. I like the play field. I like the cards. It just looks really, really well done. So hopeful on that one.
Yeah. So far, fingers crossed. It looks to be trending in a good direction. We're interested in keeping following that. Iconic Arcade, what they did with the XXL cab. So, like, obviously, put aside like feelings about people, just look at the product and tell me what you think of the concept.
Well, I will say, I don't know if I told you this or told people out there, when John D was showing it off at Vegas, I actually told someone to just wish him good luck. All right,
Yeah.
because it's still, he's got a family, he's got people got to eat, he's got employees or whatever. So I hope it does well. Me personally, and it's just me personally, I didn't need another Street Fighter cab. It would have been so much better if it was just a different IP.
Yeah.
The cabinet size is fine, although mine's a little bit taller by about an inch and a half. Just saying.
It's not like you're at the urinal standing next to
No,
each other and being like, "Hey, hey."
a little bigger. But and he's got a Raspberry Pi 5, and mine's a little bit faster with the Viper. It's just more powerful. Just it is. But aside from those two things, I just would have rather seen a different property. I just think
Yeah.
Street Fighter, like Pac-Man, just been so done. But people are pre-ordering it. That's great. I hope it sells and does well. It is just basically Arcade One Up 2.0, in my opinion. But if that's what people want, again, that's what it comes down to. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter really what I say. If someone wants that cabinet, they like the artwork, and the way it plays, and has the ability to add games because it's a Pi. I don't see how you can protect it. Um, Kudos to it. I
Yeah.
just wish it was something other than Street Fighter. It's just I think it's that and
Yeah,
Pac-Man are just overdone.
I think that's a fair sentiment. Like I told people going into it. I mean, I didn't know, but I knew because of who was building it. I was like, this is John D. John D loves Capcom, loves fighting games. He's gonna make a Street Fighter. Everybody was like, no, you don't know that. He told me he's making WrestleMania the arcade game. I was like, get out of here. uh
Hopefully the next cabinet, the next thing will be better. And again, we have to see about Iconic Arcade because it reminds me of At Games. When At Games, we've talked about this. At Games was a shit brand, but they built themselves up to be like the top tier. Now they've been making some pretty poor decisions as of late, but they went from a really shit brand to a very expensive top brand, like Hyundai. Hyundai was a shit car. Now a
yeah.
Genesis will cost you a lot of money. So
Oh, it's unreal. I walked into a Hyundai back when I got my Ford Explorer back in 2021. And, I walked in there and I was, like, talking to people and I was like, "You guys know you're Hyundai, right?" They felt like I was walking into BMW. They were like, "You're not
exactly.
very dressed up." I was like,
Yep.
"You're fucking
And
Hyundai,
sometimes
man."
and sometimes and sometimes that is part of the experience, is just how they
Yeah.
carry themselves.
Yeah.
So what I was getting at is Iconic Arcade, as you know, was a very, very, very shit brand. So hopefully this will turn that
It
around.
was somewhat laughable, I will
It
say.
it was. So they have an opportunity here to go better. Now again, I'm still seeing this as an arcade one up level
Oh, yeah, that's
machine.
100% what it is.
But I still Iconic was here and Arcade one up maybe here. So hopefully that'll help their brand, and maybe in the future it'll get better. And I do hope that I want to see just something different. If someone's going to make a recreated cabinet, most people will give me poopy on a multicade. I want to see a new IP other than we've seen over and over again in a recreated machine.
Is there any way we can convince Shiloh to move up the scale and make some big cabs for us? Because I think that's gonna be the guy, man, that does it, that does accurate arcade recreations in a larger form factor. Is there any way to do it?
I don't think you need to convince him. He's already convinced.
I know, but like to put, like we're impatient. I don't care if this company goes under. I just want this product now.
I will say that Shiloh, Shiloh is methodical and when he
Yeah,
comes up with his products. He puts a lot of passion into it. Even his little pinball machines, he got a lot of flack because it wasn't playable, but it's very meticulous and very accurate for
yeah,
what it is, especially at the price point. So with Shiloh, for him to get a machine larger, that accurate, it's gonna cause a good chunk of change unless he finds a way to work around it. So when the time is right, when the money's right, because people think about it right now, his machines were like 99 for his original Centipede. I got it for $99. Then they were like 130, 150. Now they're about $200 on average for his machine. That's for a 1/6 scale. Even Numbskull, you could pay 250 to $400 for that scale. So think about now going up to that scale, and
I
you think
know.
mine. If people think my $1,000 machine is expensive, I would imagine these recreations would be substantially more than that, and have
Yeah,
like one game or two games max on it.
yeah, like I've said this a bunch of times talking about him making this product. Everybody says they want it until they see the price tag, and then they're like, "Whoa,
Right,
I didn't want that."
right.
So I
Or
think
free shipping.
yeah, New Wave Toys gets some shit for shipping, especially for me mostly, because like man, like honestly, their
But it's
shipping
really
is
not them. When you think
I
about how my Build A Cades, we were selling for $99 originally, right? But shipping was still like $25. There's nothing we could do about it. We cut it to $49 for my Build A Cade, and it was still 25 shipping. People still going, it's still 25 shipping. I'm still
yeah,
getting you for $49. I mean, what more do you want?
I know it's one of those tough ones, Glenn, because I had people write me about both New Wave Toys and even like your stuff. Like people hate stuff in the cart, and then they're like, it's more expensive to get it shipped here than it is to buy the unit itself. And
Right.
I know you can't do anything about it. It's just defeating. It's one of those things where you're a consumer and you're like, well, fuck.
It's almost like we got to find like someone who lives in each country, and we ship everything to their house, and they start handing it out the front door. I mean, that's people
Yes,
telling me, "Glenn,
or
come to your house." I can't have these machines come to my house. I got no room.
or what we do, since the borders are so poorly guarded, we just sneak them across.
Yep.
They're like sieves.
Although
I'm
although
definitely gonna
now
get canceled tonight.
we'll have a Canadian wall put up now because we just had this conversation.
Yeah, yeah. No arcades are getting through. Last but not least, have you done anything with Evercade? Have you purchased any of their products? What do you think of Evercade?
I'm gonna be honest. I never liked the product. I never saw any need for the product. No, I know a lot of people really like Evercade and they enjoy it. There's nothing on the Evercade that I can't play 1,500 ways already, and I especially the prices of the cartridges are going up and up and up.
Yep.
I just don't see the need for it. I didn't really see the two cartridge, the new fighter one. Well, again, the machine is nice. It's just that not for me. Like my arcade, I like my arcade stuff. I got them all behind me over here. I enjoy those machines. I just didn't really see a need for the Evercade. I understand the cool factor. Because we talk about physical media. You buy the game, you can put the carts in. That's great. It just wasn't for me. I just didn't see the need for it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. The shame is like they make a really good product. Their product is really high quality. Emulation is spot on. Like when they bring a game to Evercade, it works. It works properly and stuff like that. But I think the concept is more along the line of they're really playing on nostalgia, like the
Yep.
ability to buy cartridges. And there's a whole community behind it too. Like there's a big Evercade community. I like what they did with the alpha. Might not be something that makes sense to you. I thought it was nice that somebody was out there stepping up to compete against Arcade One Up. I'm always going to like that because I believe in the.
That's like competing with someone who broke both legs in a race. I
No,
mean,
but Glenn, iron forges iron, and I think competition in the space like is going to make people try harder or release something even shittier, which is what Arcade One Up did with that 16:9 screen countercade they made. But I like the concept that there was another option out there because I don't really give a fuck what the brand name on it is. I don't care if it says at Games, Arcade One Up, Basic Fun, Evercade. I just want cool, fun stuff to play, right? So I like that. Do you think there's a possibility they could take that and then do a larger scale cab? Something that would be arcade recreation slash cartridge based.
again, there's nothing stopping them. Obviously, they have the licenses, but again, when you're doing, I know this much, and my small part of it is licensing for a handheld or a console or a download and an arcade machine, all different tiers, all different prices of licensing. So it would have to come down to, do they think they can make back the licensing fee for the artwork and the sound effects in a full size or three-quarter size type of machine. Obviously, John D, that's his thing. He can make those deals out. Um, they could. Honestly, aside from our community and a few of the people, I think most wives want to murder their husbands when they come in with one of these full size units, let alone two or three bedrooms worth like we have. So it might be a hard sell, and they may see it as that. Whereas these smaller units, just on your desk, you can put it in the closet when the wife comes home. What, this whole thing? I've had this for years. What are you talking about? These 10 games? No, I've had it in the closet for 10 years. Look, it's cartridge based. I got it from the 90s. So, but it would be kind of cool though. It would be kind of cool making like a Neo Geo type of thing, right? You have the
Yeah.
big Evercade and all the cartridges you already have, just pop them in, you have those games and play them on there. It would be kind of cool. But then again, with GRS Viper and Viper Venom, we got them already anyway. So what do you think?
Unico Nova Blast. What do you think of that unit?
I was never. It's a beautiful cabinet. I'm not a
Oh
candy
yeah,
cave guy.
yeah.
I know that 19K Fox loves candy caves. For the people, I know. I think even P Dubs likes candy
He
caves.
19K
Cabs.
Fox is one of those weird late 90s arcade
Right.
guys.
Right.
Yeah,
I never like. I was at a lot of the game shows, and I see rows and rows of candy cabs. And I'm like, it's not my thing. They're just
yeah.
plain. They did a nice job though. If you want a candy cab, uh, it's a beautiful machine. It's metal. It's got the stand. It's got the JAMA harness in there. They obviously got their screen in there. So it's a beautiful machine. Just like anything else, like my machine, like everything else. Certain things you're gonna like about certain machines. Some you don't. You like Ford. You like Yankees. You like Chevy. Um, some people like candy cabs and some people don't. So it's a very specific thing, and just not my forte. But a beautiful machine for people to like it.
I love the artwork on it. It screamed 90s to me, like with the white, purple, and green all in the neon colors. Reminded me of those early 90s Kawasaki Ninja bikes that everybody loved for
Yes.
some reason. Yeah.
Yep.
Last but not least, I recently found out about this other company. They reached out to me. They offered me a cab. I ended up not doing anything with them, but I met them at Pinball Expo, and they were selling these giant, like $7,000 50-inch arcades. I can't remember the name off the top of my head right now, but what do you think of these giant, like mega arcades and stuff like that these companies are making? I don't know if there's much crossover for our community, but I have seen them in people's homes. What's your feeling on these like massive, giant, like crazy arcades? I know Doug just got a smaller version from Game Room Solutions they sent to him with a 32-inch screen, but it's kind of, the same concept. Retrocade, that's the name of the company.
Gotcha. Um, Again, that's not my thing. Those type of things. If anything, I'd put mine, a Build A Cade with a Viper on a projector on my wall.
Yeah.
That's just me. But again, there must be a market for them. They must be selling some, and you have to have space. And that's the thing. My house, although it looks like a huge mansion, it is not, and I wouldn't have the room for such a thing. But for certain people, sure. I mean, I've seen people who have huge basements, man caves. I mean, humongous. That they even have like little miniature golf things in their basement. They have all that space. So for them, it might be good. And again, there's nothing wrong with choices and options. That's the best thing about the community is there's all these different people making it, and what you want, what you like, you get. Don't let anyone ever tell you feel bad about your purchase. It's your money. You worked hard for it, or at least your spouse worked hard for it and you borrowed it, whatever. Um, get what makes you happy because you know what? You live once. As far as I know, you have one life to live. Be happy, but don't piss off your spouse doing so because that will make it unfun.
I think you just got to nudge her a little bit until she can't take it anymore. And then when she threatens she's going to leave and take the kids, that's when you finally lay down and you're like, all right, I won't buy anymore.
Or you go buy a diamond or a ring of some kind and make up for it. But
Yeah.
um, just make whatever's happy because just, I see too many people that aren't happy, and I don't know a lot of people aren't happy. And just do what makes you happy. And if buying this big 55-inch screen that plays Pong or Space War, go do it.
Can you imagine?
I would see. I would buy it.
I spent $7,000 US to play Pong.
Well, they built that mechanical pong table that was like 5,000, I think. If you remember that one,
Yeah.
it was beautiful. I would love to have gotten it, but I wasn't paying $5,000
Oh,
for it.
God no, God no. It's funny because I've recently seen him. I watch wrestling, right? So there's this wrestler very involved in the gaming community, Xavier Woods, and he has this show called Up Up Down Down. And one of his episodes was, and like he previously had like arcade one up cabs and stuff like that. He was so excited because he bought one of these like custom pimp your ride, like $8,000 at home, like giant multicades. And I was just like, I think they're cool. I love the concept. That's why, I've stuck a TV on the wall and stuck an Act Games Legends Gamer pedestal in front of it. But like, I just, like, I think they're really super cool. I love the giant screen, but like I said, a lot of money outside my price range. I can't afford that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too. I can't imagine what shipping was on that one.
I can tell you probably around like $1,500. Yeah, I don't know. Some of these shipping companies do it a little bit cheaper. Glenn, thank you so much, man. Looking forward to the pre-order coming out at the end of the month. I do have a poll up. Are you pre-ordering the GRS Build A Cade FU? 19-inch got 15%, 26-inch got 20%.
Ooh, see, you
So
should got
again,
more.
look, see, my audience, we want them
Yep,
big.
yep.
25% said not getting one, which, we talked about earlier. Some people want that ready-made thing. The big one was 40% waiting on more info. So like I said again, I think people are waiting on that finalized price.
And don't blame them. I don't blame at all. Some people have my products already, and they're gonna know what they're gonna get, but some people don't yet. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. For the people who do purchase it, the people who do try it out, that's what I really need, just people to give the good and bad and the truth. You
Yeah.
know me long enough to know. Anytime I send you something, I just want the truth, because if something is wrong, I can't fix it. If everyone says, "Oh, it's great," it's really garbage. We need to know.
Yeah.
Um, but I think my track record right now has been pretty damn good. Um, and we'll wait and see. Again, if maybe I won't get a pre-orders at all. Maybe we don't get enough to make. Remember, we have to hit a certain number, which we'll announce when we do this. Maybe we don't even get the amount we need, and then we don't. Never happens to begin with. So this is all for nothing, other than to waste people's 2 hours tonight.
It's only been an hour and 47 minutes. It's not 2 hours
Oh,
yet.
that's all right.
I've got a pretty good feeling you'll meet your number. Do you have that magic number or what you need? Do you know that yet?
No, because it'll come down to, once we get all the parts and the wood. That comes down to the cost. Because again, to get the cost down, I got to make so many units. So I want to make sure that cost is under 1,000. I'm trying not to make it 999.99. That'd be pretty much a dick move if I did something like that. So
999.99.9.
9.9. So that's all going to come into play. And
Yeah.
then, like I said, they want to make the other optional parts. The decks and some other things we have planned out. Like I said, other controllers still want to make. The Paperboy controller, 720 controller, and again the enhanced Tron stick, which I didn't really spill the beans on that one. And the other product that will accept the Viper and Dex, that will not be a full size unit or a 1/6 scale unit.
You can play it on your phone, isn't it? You're stealing iArcade's idea.
Only for Dragon's Lair. Only for
Oh
playing
man,
Dragon's Lair.
that was so terrible. Like honestly, I do have to go back and like I'll never revel in a company going into business or anything like that, and I'll never take any joy in it. But I cannot tell you, sitting there watching that, and I was so sad, like the whole press conference and stuff like that. And then John brings up this concept of the phone thing, and I was like, this is the stupidest thing I ever saw.
Should
Like
have been
this
an iPad.
this is the dumbest shit I have ever saw. He thought people were going to want to play retro arcade games, which they can already do through emulators on their phones in the iArcade like ecosystem, and this is what he put all his money into. And like, you know, I thought it couldn't get any sadder than that. And then you see them, they're playing it during the conference and stuff like that, and you were just like, broken dreams, John's got them all.
But you know what? At least he had an idea. Sometimes some of the ideas don't work out. They don't. I've had pitched plenty of ideas to my team, and they get shot down. So not every idea is going to make it into production, but he tried. It was
Yeah.
something he wanted to do. He tried. It didn't work out. at least he tried. I mean, I still got the
I got
DNA.
my hat
I
over
still
there
believe
too,
in it.
actually.
And I
Yeah.
still believe in the community. I still believe in that machine, even though it didn't make it. Remember, sometimes the most powerful, best machines in the market don't make it. That's where the GRS Build A Cade is going to break that mold.
It's also singing Journey songs. That's what I knew it was over. Anyways,
I could
Glenn,
I could see him. I could see him singing some Journey. I could see that.
I know you got to get up super early in the morning, so I won't hold you hostage any longer. I know people want deck prices and all that stuff. Guys, you're gonna have
It's
to be
coming.
patient. Wait
It's coming.
till wait till the end of the month. Hopefully, the pre-order goes out then. You guys are gonna find out all the prices, all that information. Until then, got a hell of a product coming from a hell of a guy, and I'm really excited about this. And I'll be over in my 2021 Ford Explorer now with satellite radio for the next 3 months to pick one up.
That's it.
All right. Anyways, guys, thanks for hanging out for as long as you did. I got to let Glenn go to bed. Good night, everybody. So it's definitely $9.99.99, right?
98. I'll do like a Walmart price.
You got to do the off pricing. Walmart doesn't do nine. Well, they do 98 sometimes. It's 97 other times.
Or a free gift certificate to the local hooker.